All right. It's that time. It's time for Beyond Sight and Sound. Let's do this.
Are you looking for a high-quality beach and sand scoop? Are you trying to take your hunting to the extreme? How about an American-based company that stands behind their product and everything they sell? Then check out our friends over at XTREME Scoops. John has been making scoops for some time now and makes a quality beach and sand scoop to take your hunting to the next level. XTREME Scoops recently released their new sand shredder that works great in the water and on the beach. And if you're a new Equinox user, you may want to check out his Surfmaster X3 that can trap those small targets you new Equinox users are finding out there. XTREME Scoops' company approach is let's do it right. So do it right, buy it once, and go to the extreme. XTREMEScoops.com. That's XTREME scoops.com. Caution. Please do not operate motor vehicles or power equipment while under the influence of this show. Listening to this show could cause side effects such as bouts of laughter, violent binges of cabin fever, and even dreams of silver and gold. Please be advised. Now that the fine print is out of the way, on with the show. All right, the fine print's out of the way, and it's time to roll with the show. We are back. We are live once again, and you are listening to Beyond Sight and Sound, metal detecting and treasure hunting radio for all the really cool digging people out there. And as I look into the chat, let's see here. Let's see what's going on. Looks like, Ohio Relic Hunters in, along with the polyester pirate. Oh, no. Seriously, the Bills are in, Scotty's in. Looks like Mike, Nelson, Bob, Steve, Amphibious Detecting once again. That's a name I've seen popping up quite a bit. Finding America, welcome aboard. Where? Welcome to Earl. I want to say over in the Pacific Northwest Diggers Facebook group. If you are not a member over there, you may want to go check them out. Pacific Northwest Diggers. Definitely a nice little group they got going on there. Definitely a nice little group. Let's see here. I've come to realize is literally everyone on Spreaker. Well, there are a lot of us on here. Either in the chat, or behind the mic, or occasionally, Maybe you even hear them call in. So, obviously, first and foremost, we're here on Wednesdays, we're here on Sundays, 8 p.m. Eastern, or as close to it as we can get. That's when we like to throw the switch and, well, maybe turn a little bit of chaos into coordination. Links in the description. First and foremost, as always, our friends over at Shooters and Prospectors. Chuck Smalley, the man with the plan, the dealer of choice, a multi-line dealer dealing in XP, Note to Macro, Mine Lab, Detector Pro, Detect Ed, Garrett, many others, Cedar River Digging Tools. The list just goes on. I'm telling you, I don't know how much I can stress it. If there's something you're looking for, give the man a call. Give the man a call. Great shipping, great customer service. And let's face it, you folks out there that deal with the big box retailers, the online sales, to each their own. But they don't sell after the sale customer service. And that is what you will get from a good quality, reputable dealer. Maybe you find that you don't need it. Maybe you find that it comes in quite handy. Our friends at DETECTEES.com, Ken, Mark, Darth, Buddy, and the gang doing a great job, definitely. Welcome to Mark. I think I saw him slip through the door there somewhere. Our friends over at XTREME Scoops. Good quality scoops. Our friends at XP Team USA, Facebook group, website, podcast, every other Friday, right here on Spreaker.com. Right along with the rest of us, since all of us are literally right here on Spreaker. You can find their YouTube channel by searching for XP Team USA, and don't forget and go back and check out their massive XP giveaway. It's an ORX 11-inch coil, hard case, MI6 pen pointer. I don't know what all else. It's massive. Somebody's going to be very, very happy. That link is in our description as well, and that runs on to, I want to say, the end of the year. Just make sure to read the instructions in the video. They've done a pretty good job of hiding things. But that's good. That makes you work for it a little bit. Our links to our friends at All Metal Militia, links to our friends over at Metal Detecting NYC, Ohio Metal Detecting, TheRingFinders.com. And I'm sure the link for B3 Relic Recovery is probably bouncing around in the list of links somewhere still. I haven't worked that one out. We did drop the link for the Great Christmas Metal Detecting giveaway for kids ages 5 to 15, simply because, obviously, you great folks know that was done last weekend. And man, did we make a lot of kids happy. A lot of kids happy. I saw somebody post in the group the other day that said, "Thanks, got my detector. See you next year." And I had mentioned, well, don't forget and post up a picture of that detector. And somebody had even commented and said, "Your detector? Don't you mean the kid you were playing for?" Well, come to find out, that Facebook account actually belonged to a 14-year-old who had found the group last year and participated in the hopes that he could win a detector, because he's always been interested in detecting and just, hey, he's 14. Couldn't afford one. Well, come to find out, he was one of our winners this year. Very, very cool. So once again, big shout out to everybody that donated. There were a lot of happy people. And Chuck said it best in the chat. All the donors, everybody that was behind it, man, it was great. And we appreciate it very much. A lot of these kids were just floored with the prizes that they received, whether it was something small or whether it was something big. I mean, we've seen a lot of people post up photos already, and this is just a small portion. There should be, I know there were a couple of posts that had even mentioned, hey, we did receive the items, but we're waiting to post pictures because we're holding it back for them to open at Christmas. Then we'll post the pictures. That's fine. That's fine. We're just, we're glad we were able to make so many kids happy, and it was a lot of kids for sure. I think we've covered all the links in the description. There's also one more there at the very end, the Sumplex raffle. I also dropped the link in the chat at the beginning of the show for those who can't seem to find the description for whatever reason. But the Sumplex raffle is being put on by the I&I Hunters Group, the Illinois-Iowa Hunters Group, and that is to raise funds. Basically, the funds that they raise for that will go towards the I&I hunt in June. I believe tickets are $5 a piece. Yes, there are some online sales. You can do it online by sending money through PayPal. You can find the PayPal address in the link in the description or in the link that I dropped in the chat. It's $5 straight a ticket, just $5 per entry to get yourself entered to win a Nokta Macro Sumplex, which is, at this point, debatably one of the hottest machines being talked about out there. One of the, dare I say, coveted machines by a number of people. Very, very good machines from what I see. And online sales are going on right now. You click the link, read the description, get the PayPal address, $5 a ticket. And that'll go on into March, somewhere around the 20th, I believe, maybe the 23rd. Either way, just like before, like with the Cordova raffle, the Cordova detector raffle, your name will be assigned to a physical ticket for each entry. They'll be thrown into a box, a bucket, a barrel, a drum, whatever. They're going to throw them in something. One of Chuck's hats? Who knows? And they will do a Facebook Go Live, just like they did with the Cordova detector raffle, and pull that lucky winner that will win themselves a Nokta Macro Sumplex. Looks like Chuck is telling us in the chat that they believe they're going to do the drawing in early March. I'm not sure. They may be. Welcome to Jerry. Either way, all that information is right there in that post. Which, like I said, I dropped the link in the chat tonight. The link's in the description. It's also up near the top of the Beyond Sight and Sound page and the groups that we have founded. Metal Detecting Beyond Sight and Sound, the MindLab CTX 3030 users group, MindLab Equinox users group, Garrett AT Max users group. It's in all of those. It's on my timeline. It's in the I&I group. If you can't find it in the I&I group, it's real simple. Just scroll up to the top of the page, click their event tab, and that's the only event listed right now is the Sumplex detector raffle. If you have no other way of finding it. There's a lot of different ways to find it. We're trying to get the word out there and let people know about it. So I wanted to make sure to mention that link. Apologies. Welcome to Gary Penta, mydetecting.com, which also that link is in the chat tonight as well. Some of you may have noticed it in the promo. Yes, I know I dropped the promo kind of late tonight. It's We're days before Christmas. Things are so hectic around here, if my head wasn't attached, I'd lose it. But that's the way it goes sometimes. Believe me, with me, it's a very good possibility, too, here lately. But that's a whole other ball of wax and can of worms, right? Definitely. So I think we've got all the links covered in the description. So, what are we doing tonight? Well, it's the last live run before Christmas, because obviously Wednesday is Christmas Day, and we understand it. People have a lot of family obligations, so we will be running an archive. It's an archive that hasn't been ran in a while. I want to say, I don't have it in my notes in front of me here, but I want to say we went clear back to 2015, somewhere around there, and pulled one with Chris Engel out of Texas, talking about research. So that'll be an interesting archive for everyone. So there will be a show in place Wednesday. I'm not going to physically be sitting in front of the computer. And subsequently, the way that New Year's falls, next Wednesday will also be an archive. So we are live tonight, and we will be live next Sunday. And then after the holidays, we'll see. Hopefully it's back to business as usual. We may have some announcements after the first of the year. Specifically, we may be promoting another raffle and fundraiser for an animal shelter is the idea that we're kicking around. Very, very cute kind of idea in a sense, because of the animal shelter that it is. And we may be attempting to... I don't necessarily want to say raffle. Suffice to say, for each donation, though, if we go forward with it, for each donation, we will make sure to get your name put onto a special list that you may be lucky enough to win a metal detector. And we'll see how that goes. We're not really ready to come out with that information yet, but I did share the organization on my timeline the other day of this animal shelter. So we're still trying to work out the details, and we'll see what we can do to get through it. Gotta kind of figure out, iron out all the details. So there will be more on that after the first of the year. Give me some time to kind of get all the ducks in a row and figure out how this gentleman would like things done. Because really, myself, I'm just a helping hand. I was approached by a gentleman, wanted to do something good for a animal shelter, because it's not cheap to operate some of these. So naturally, yes, well, I said that I'm happy to try and help. I'll do what I can, and we'll see what happens. I mean, they were so excited about it, they wanted me to announce it tonight and announce a winner on Christmas. But that's I told them, I said, that can't happen. That's way too short of amount of time to plan. That's way too short of a time to generate tickets. If you're trying to maximize as much as you can to donate to this shelter. So it has to be done properly. It has to be done right. We need time to prepare. And right here over the holidays, time is kind of a tight commodity, you could say. So, with all that in mind, I digress. This is our Christmas episode, and we thought we'd keep it light, thought we'd keep it happy, positive, share maybe some return stories. Detecting the Heartland had, what did they call it? DTH Return Week, where they had a number of people sharing returns. Obviously, the post that I normally share this time of the year, I did drop it over there, even though I haven't circulated it through Facebook yet. Maybe I'll do that tonight. Maybe I'll wait until tomorrow. Maybe I'll do it Tuesday. You just never know. And for many of you, yes, you've already seen the story, but it is a good story, and it is one that I do truly personally enjoy to share this time of the year. One of my favorite returns. And, I don't know. I suppose some, maybe, may recall that, some years back, I had been out hunting. I recovered a class ring that had been missing for 30 plus years. And wound up locating the owner and returning it within 2 weeks to the day that I had found it. Was not requested to find it. I just stumbled across it. We got it back to them. They were very, very thankful, very happy. A lot of emotions going on in that video, the return video. And the local paper did an article on it. Well, fast forward, somebody, a friend of the family, sees that article, contacts me, and says, "Hey, my son lost his class ring around 6 years ago. Do you think you could find it?" Well, I can try. I'll do what I can, right? That's what we all do. We all like to try and do what we can, at least. It's worth a shot. So, we make plans. Schedules were hectic, but we did finally get to meet up, and this has been, a few years back. It was on Father's Day. And I go out to this location to try and locate this lost ring for her son, who doesn't even know that we're attempting to find it. And this is a good lesson in ring recovery attempts as well, because they kept me in this location that they swore the ring was lost in some years ago, about 6 years ago. As many of you know that have recovered rings in the past, when people contact you, especially if there's been any amount of time go by, memories start to fade. Maybe the mind plays tricks on us. We try to fill in the blanks. We think we lost it here. It may have been there. So after a couple hours looking in the area that she swore it had to be, she had to leave, and I expanded my search. And about an hour later, I come up with the ring. I want to say it was probably a good 40 feet north of where they swore it was. A good 40 feet outside of where they swore it was, I guess I should say. So I bring it home, I clean it up, we get some photos of it, we document the recovery. We contact her, and I ask her, I say, well, if I'm able to find this ring, what are you going to do with it? I mean, where is your son? And she says, well, he's at work right now. I said, okay, well, what are you going to do with it if I am able to locate it? She says, well, we'd really like to surprise him with it, so we're going to try to keep it a secret. Okay. Hey, that's fine. I've got what you're looking for. And everybody's happy there. Oh my God, I can't believe you found it. Wow, that is so cool. Compliments, hugs, all of that. Everybody's happy. It's a good day. It's a good day. And then they asked me to keep the video quiet. And we did. We tried to keep it low profile because she was so scared to death that somehow or another her son was going to find out about it through that video. Well, like I said, that was Father's Day. And that year, they waited and they kept everything quiet. Come Christmas, they wrap it up in a box, and they present him with it on Christmas Day as a Christmas gift, telling him, you know, this gift you're about to open, I promise you, no one in the world has what's in that box. It's a very unique item. And he starts opening this package, which is much, much larger than the ring, to throw him off, apparently. And you kind of see he's a little confused. Because it's a class ring in the box. It's even got scratches on it. Just like his would. But how could it be his? He lost his 6 years ago. And they're trying to explain to him, because they took video of him opening this so that I could see his reactions and share it with people. And they finally explained to him, well, that's not a replacement ring. That is your ring. That's the ring you lost 6 years ago. How? Where did you find it? Well, obviously, you all know we find it where it's lost, right? So they were kind enough to record that for me. And I did upload that video as well to the YouTube channel. And in the duration of recording this video, the gentleman receiving the ring finally realizes he's being recorded, which he absolutely hates. He despises. And he asks, he's like, are you recording me? And they say, well, yes. Because we had some help to be able to present you with this today. A gentleman helped us out. He documented the recovery. We'll show you that video, but that's why we're recording this, so we can document it for him. And by that point, they had turned off the video. They showed him the recovery video. They explained who I was, what happened, how it came to be that he had his ring back, and he requested to have the camera turned back on so that he could say thank you. It was a few days before Christmas that he had just been thinking, man, I wish I still had my class ring. And, come to find out, he's still got his class ring. He got it back for Christmas that year. And I still occasionally run into this guy from time to time because he is in the local area. And every time I do, he still asks me, hey, do you still do the metal detecting and treasure hunting and finding rings and stuff? Yeah, I sure do. He says, well, I really appreciate what you did for me. I've still got it. And that is awesome. I love to share that story this time of the year. And I'll put up a post, like I said, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, with some photos and the links to the videos of the recovery and of the return. I think we're talking, each video may be 6 or 7 minutes in length. They're not long videos. Take the time and just check it out. Check out the videos. It's a great story to share this time of the year. It helps to put what we do as a hobby in such a great light that I can't help but not to share it. I have to share. I feel obligated almost to share that story every year around this time of the year because it is such a great story. It, we go past the materialistic gifts, in a sense, for Christmas and the money that people shell out and all of that. This was doing what we could to help another person. And it was wonderful. It was a wonderful thing to do, and to help him out, because this was all done on Oh, somebody's got their speakers on. There they go. They're off now. And a great thing to do. I mean, this was just done out of generosity. There was no reward involved. There was no money, fees, nothing like that. This was reuniting someone with their lost item, which is why the return or actually getting it back to the owner at Christmas. That's why we titled the video, "It Is Mine. A Lost Ring Returns Home for a Christmas Surprise." And it really is a great story. I mean, some of us, maybe we get tired of hearing it at times, but I just can't help but share that story every year, this time of the year. How is it going, Mark? Merry Christmas to you and your family.
Thanks, Josh. Merry Christmas to you. That's a fantastic story about that ring. That's awesome.
Well, you've been involved in some ring returns too. Each one is each ring that we can return is a great story in its own. Any time we can do anything like that, it's a wonderful thing to do.
It really is. And I was just thinking when you were telling that story, and there were a couple of stories that were shared in the chat while we were doing this, and of course, we know about Steve Zazulik and, the ring finder and his tips on finding rings. And, Josh, you could do it easily, do a 2-hour show with just people calling in and talking about their favorite returns. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a ring. I think a lot of them are rings, but,
yeah, but really it's just that personal item for somebody. You're right. It doesn't have to be a ring. Maybe it's car keys. Maybe it's an earring. Maybe it's property markers. Either way, it's those lost items that we're helping people to locate.
Yeah, and some of them just have an amazing background on them. Amphibious Detecting just posted a really cool story. Hopefully he'll call in one day and share that story. But I was going to tell you about one. You may have seen it on Central Florida Metal Detecting Club and some other sites. Troy Hannigan, who is a detectorist down in the Melbourne area, great guy. I've hunted with Troy several times, and he just recently found the class ring from 1976. And
I do believe I saw that post.
Yeah, it's a great story because it's the high school is Nitro High School, and if you go on the CFNDC Facebook group page, it's got a beautiful picture of the ring. And he contacted the Melbourne Police Department, and they helped him track down the high school, which turned out to be in West Virginia. And when they tracked down the owner, they found out that the owner had visited Melbourne 30 years ago. And wherever they were staying, somebody broke in and stole that ring and some other things wherever they were staying at. So he knew that he would never see that ring again.
Or thought.
And or thought. And so Troy called him and said, "I have your ring," and was making arrangements to get it back to him. So that's just another great story.
Absolutely it is, and I'm glad to see that it sparked some interest in the chat as well, and we've got Chuck on with us too. I don't know, maybe he has one to share real quick.
Well, I put one on the chat, but I'm not going to talk about that because I was paid hush money. So if you read what was on the chat...
Oh, okay, I know what you're referring to.
I did post a picture of that ring. I swear you could go bowling with that diamond.
You could.
And,
you could.
Really nice ring, but that's one for when we're all around the table somewhere.
Exactly.
But because I can tell the whole story, but I'm not putting it online. I was asked not to, but I do have one that has always kind of touched me that I found for a gentleman. And about 6 years ago, I get a phone call from one of my firefighters who had moved out of the area but moved back, married a gal here. And Mike asked me, he said, "You still detect, right?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "My father-in-law, Fred, over here lost his wedding band. And we think we know, but we went out, they had a north-south indicator like they use for looking for stakes and markers and things. And he said, "I haven't got a hit on that." And I said, "Well, okay, I'll run over and I'll take a look." And I threw the detector in, and it was early fall. It wasn't bad weather. It was early fall. And I get over there, and I'm talking with Mike. I met his father-in-law, and Fred was there, and his wife, and he said, well, I lost a ring, and it's out here. Now, this guy, I didn't know this at the time, how old he was or what he'd done until a little later after this. He told me approximately where it would be, and it's out in the garden. He'd been digging sweet potatoes. So I'm thinking, oh, he's got a little garden patch. No, this guy's in his late 80s at that time. He's got a full acre of garden.
Yeah, I was going to say, why does this sound like it's going to turn into an acre field?
They like sweet potatoes. Now, he started doing a full acre, and he'd been pulling potatoes for a while. And I said, all right, so I'll start working it. And about 30 minutes into it, off the one end on the other side, I get a low signal. I go down, and sweet potatoes are a deep veggie. I mean, that's deep, and about 9 inches deep in the bottom of one of the holes. I pulled the ring up. I actually got a picture of it, lit it up, took a picture in the hole, got it, handed it to him. Well, his wife come out with, and she's using a walker, and she says, what do we owe you? And I said, you owe me nothing. I said, Mike's a good friend, and I said, this is no problem. This ring is the largest ring that I've ever found. It's a size 16. 18-karat band with some diamonds in it. And he looked at me, he said, this is $1 million ring. He says, the wife and I have been married for 60 years. And I said, well, I'm glad to give it back to you. And she tried to give me money. I wouldn't take it. But I did ask permission to hunt the farms, because the farms he owned, they're a Century Farm Plus in one family, and big sign on it. And then there was other history, and I talked to her, and she's a wealth of knowledge out there on the history of that particular area, not far from me. Now let's fast forward 2 years. I get a phone call again from Mike. Chuck, Fred lost his ring again. I thought I said I thought he was going to have it resized because he's getting older. And nope. And he said, I said, is he working the garden again? Yeah. And this is the springtime. And an hour into it, he had stuff piled up, different things. I found it again. She came out. She tried to stuff money in my pocket, and I've been detecting it. I found seeded dimes there. I found large cents. I found not a half cent, a TREME. Just all kinds of great stuff. I go out and I'd show them. She'd tell me more history. I went in the house that time, and the second time around, there's a nice big display on the back wall of his World War II memorabilia, which include a silver star, a bronze star, a Purple Heart, all kinds of stuff hanging there. And I'm looking at this, and then his patches and the hat sitting there. He's a veteran of the Battle of Iwo Jima.
Wow. See, you've always got such good stories to share.
Well, he's 5'0", but he's built like an anvil. And he has hands on him that are like clubs. I'm serious. He grabs your hand now and he can crush it. And he's 90 plus. Wow. And he just does this thing, and boy, was she mad at him. I looked at him for losing it again. You survived that, but I'll bet you're not surviving this. And he started laughing. He said, he goes, you don't know the half of it.
Right.
He got to resize this time around, but getting to know him has been a pleasure, let me tell you.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolute pleasure. And I've returned a lot of rings over the years, and this last other one is quite the story, but it's not going on the air. I made a promise.
Right, so, yeah. Sometimes we're bound by confidentiality, and that's entirely understandable.
Right.
That was a phenomenal find. That picture was just crazy.
And never mind. I'm getting tempted here, and I can't. Anyhow, but finding Fred's ring for him twice, and then finding out what he gave to us is phenomenal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's when you kind of sit there and say, "No, sir, the pleasure was all mine. Thank you for your service."
And I did.
Hey, Chuck.
Yeah?
Mark here. Hey, I would have told him, look, I'll get you a ring if I can keep all the sweet potatoes.
Now, that's the last part of the story. They had to give me something. The first time I took several sweet potatoes because my wife loves sweet potatoes, baked and then butter and cinnamon, brown sugar, that type of thing. So he says, I know you like sweet potatoes. I went to the back of the truck. I didn't see him do this. I was talking with Mike, and we were chit-chatting about different things, and he's asking about the fire department, and we're talking about the challenges and things like that going on today with it in fire departments. And I went back. He put a 40-pound bag of sweet potatoes, I'm serious, in the back of the truck.
Chuck had potatoes for weeks.
My wife and I said, I can't eat all these sweet potatoes. His wife's going, you take them. I said, here, let me, and these are the old-time farm folk. They traded, and if you've never lived in a ag community, most of you don't understand it. That is, to give something back they've just given you is an insult.
Right. You can't argue with them. You're not going to win that argument. You had to take them.
Oh, she said, you are keeping them. That was in the story. I wasn't going to argue with her. So I come home. I said, he gave us sweet potatoes. Oh, that's great. I brought that bag in. What are we going to do with them? I said, up and down the road, everybody gets 10 pounds. Let's get them out of here. Let's keep what we're going to eat. And I went up and down the road and bagged and shared it forward.
There you go.
That's a great story.
That's a great story. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, and he's still there. She's still there, and going strong. He still goes out and does his garden by hand, pretty much. And they own a bunch of farms. He leases it all out. The one that I really want to work is over there, but it's dairy. And you know what they do with everything that the cows leave us? They slurry it and they spread it. And I've found out there, but sometimes you can't even go, oh man, you can't go near that field. But the rest of it's been good. There was an old church there, and there was not a post office, but it was a postal drop-off where all these little farmettes were. They dropped at one spot and everybody walked over. They'd leave what they needed to buy for stamps and stuff. This is I found some good stuff over there. It's a good site, and nice. It's just huge. And I'll go over there and work it because of me finding that ring for him twice. It's been a lot of fun.
Let's hope number 3 doesn't come.
Yeah, well, I hope so too. He got it resized, but think of that, think of the size of a hand wearing a size 16. He grabs your hand, and he's just a short little guy, but he buries mine. He just grabs you and squeezes, and wow.
Right.
So that's my story. If somebody else wants to call in and give another one, that's great.
It sounds like Mark's got a question or statement for you before you go.
No, I was just going to tell you, I don't know if you saw it, but Bill said that you didn't mention the 12 chickens, 1 hog, and a gallon of milk that the guy gave you, too.
You're sounding way in the background on my phone, so I didn't quite catch what you said.
I said that Bill Marsh said you're not mentioning the 12 chickens, 1 hog, and 1 gallon of fresh milk that the man gave you also.
I probably could have got that too, yes. It's that farm community where you do something for them, I'm going to do something for you, and you're going to take this whether you like it or not. And that's just a great way of doing things, and it still exists out here a bit.
Oh yeah, we all pitch in to help each other.
That's right. And he's a character in his own right, I'll tell you. He's very well known throughout the area. Is probably one of the hardest working men you'll ever meet, and he still does. And it was a lot of fun. But the second time I I almost cringed when he told me on the phone that you got to find it again. I could just imagine the wrath old Fred got.
Well, I imagine a size 16 just screams.
Oh, it did. It was deep and it was loud, and it read, and this was on the 3030 both times. If I remember correctly, it read 8 because it's 18 karat, 8 and 10, right in that range.
Wow, that's certainly lower than what I would have expected for that size of band, but still, good job.
Well, it goes by that
the carat.
High quality gold reads lower most of the time.
That is true.
14 karat, I've had it read as high as 28 to 30.
Right. That is true.
So,
very good point.
Yep. So anyway, I'll back out of here. I want to wish everybody Merry Christmas out there. Have a safe holiday, and thank everybody out there. I was very busy this past week, 10 days. Trust me, we got it all shipped out. I'll give you a quick story, Barb. I got the address for the Sully boy that won the one detector.
Yeah, I did see that. It looked like Justin Sully's son won the Sumplex.
Yes, he did. Well, I dyslexic 2 numbers. I rotated in my typing, which is not hard to do, and I thought I had it right, and I sent him a picture of the slip and everything, and then I get a contact, and Barb says, we've had an oops here, and then I get one from Justin, yeah, we got a glitch. So I talked with him, and the post office, I sent it click and ship USPS because it was easiest and quickest. And he was worried it was going to get sent back. He thought it was going to get sent back. Well, they went out to deliver, came back, address was screwed up. Well, whoever the gal was, I made a call, and whoever the gal was that intercepted and changed the address, she was the angel in the delivery because it got delivered the next day without getting shipped back.
Yeah, and actually he did receive that, I want to say 2 or 3 days ago. I know you saw the photo.
Yeah, oh yeah, I did. It looked like he's ready. He was in a pair of gym trunks ready to go beach hunting. Yeah.
Just last summer, they were down, they took a family vacation, I guess you could say, down there to Florida to, what was the name? Destin. And if they go back this year, I'm sure that Sumplex is going with them.
Oh, I'll bet. And I hope he does very well with it, and that they have a great time. I love seeing these kids get this stuff, and your story about the 14-year-old that got in there, that's really great. That's cool. And,
yep.
and it's nice to see the kids get it. And Barb, if this continues to grow, we're going to have to find her some help.
Yeah, I think we started it up, and now the ball is rolling, and if we don't watch it, it may roll over us.
And Barb lives for that. She just loves
she
this.
Does.
I know she tells me that, and that's fun. And everybody that donated, I know you're all into it. The Christmas spirit is alive, so that's great from our hobby. I mean, and I'm going to make one quick announcement. And you and I have talked about this, Josh, and it looks like things are going very well with it. I'm not going to give a lot of detail, but starting probably in June, but we're working from now forward to it's late June, early July.
It takes time.
Yeah, a friend of mine who's a colonel in the Air Force, he is stationed out in Colorado, has approached the Wounded Warriors Project, approached me, then I've been working with him and the Wounded Warriors. We will have full go with this region out there to start. They've added metal detecting to their list of things people can choose to help them, and it could be any veteran that's in Wounded Warriors, a member of. We will go out, and I've approached one company now and waiting to hear back from them, and that's what we're waiting on, but they don't care it's a go. We're going to be working with Wounded Warriors.
That is phenomenally awesome and very commendable for what you're doing with that. And as I said before, I'm wishing the absolute best of luck and very avidly following, and we do look forward to when we can share more about that.
Yeah, and I'm very excited about this. It means an awful lot to me because both my sons served. The one had some PTSD, and we got him to the veterans and working on that. Unfortunately, I lost a son in the military, so it means a lot to help these guys and gals. And they sign up. Now, the water is there. They got to drink it. They have to sign up for an intent to want to do this. And I've been asked to be one of the trainer or the trainer on the first group that they have. And this isn't something that I'm just doing as me or S&W. It will grow. We will make it grow. We've offered things. Other people will be involved. I've talked to a few already within the industry and a few more that I've known to invite in, and I hope region by region, because Wounded Warriors has specific numbers of states in each region. We're starting there, and when this comes to pass, they want me to go out to Colorado and help train, and I told them in a heartbeat, I'll be there.
Absolutely, and like I said before, I don't think you'll have any problem with the sign-up process of it.
We'll see. You can lead them to water, but, we'll see from here. That's what we're waiting on. It's still a lot of militaries. The Wounded Warrior Project is through the military and an independent organization upon itself.
Yes.
And I know Gary Sinise supports it, and you'll see many of the others support it, but we've been working with this, made the presentation. The colonel made one heck of a presentation, and he had me go through it with him, and we tweaked it and did some things, and there have been a couple other things you could add, and now it's in the hands of one company, and it may be put out to others. I don't know how that's going to work. That's what they're relying on me for, and we'll see which one decides to step up to the plate to help us out.
Nice. That is phenomenal. Great news, definitely, and for a great cause.
Yep. So I will give more detail as it becomes available and people get on board, and other people will be asked if this starts to move to different regions to stand up with them.
Right. If it starts to grow, which I suspect it will, we'll need a little help.
I hope, because, a lot of us metal detect. To me, it's my quiet time.
Right. We know how therapeutic it is.
My eyes have seen things I wish I could forget. Trust me. Over 45 years of doing what I do.
Absolutely.
And that is my detached time, and fishing and hunting, things like that. But metal detecting does it very well. You're out, you're doing things, you're concentrating on something other than problems, you're having a good time. And it was presented for all its things that it can do for people, and they've looked at it, and the head out there in that region loves the idea. So they're promoting it to their people that are in that particular region, and we're going to work with them.
Nice. And speaking of hunting, congrats to Travis on his recent buck.
Oh, yeah, he got a dandy. Yes, I was with him when he got that one, and I was very tickled to see him because he's always gotten the smaller ones, things like that. And this guy come out, and I looked at him. I said, "You better, yeah, don't worry, I got this." And he made a very fine shot and dropped him immediately. And it was a lot of fun. And now we're going to have a lot of venison sausage and burger and stuff like that. That was a great day.
There you go. And Mike Boyles does mention in the chat that if you can get in contact with him when things move forward about the info, he will share it with his rep in Florida.
I'll tell you what, well, I'll do that once I get the go-ahead. I'm kind of on a...
Right, your hands are tied at this point.
My hands are tied, and I'm working with them, and I'm working within a system, and their system is very structured.
Yes,
very structured.
It takes time, which I'm sure Mike understands that.
And Mike understands that. I'll bet he does. And I will, Michael, I will talk to you about that when things move farther with us. And
right,
this has been months. We have been working on it to get it to this point for many months.
Yes, absolutely.
Not quite a year yet.
Getting close, though.
Yep. So there was a lot of places mentioned that I knew of that would be very welcoming of it, and we found one out in Denver, and we found one probably on the East Coast, and I was looking for, it all depends upon who signs up and how they want to approach this, and that's all being formulated now, and I've reached out to some of my other colleagues that are in the military, and they've been helping too, so this is a big deal. If it takes off, this will be a lot of fun, and everybody will move forward with us. So it'll be a good time. And Michael, I won't forget you, buddy.
Oh, I won't let him, Mike.
No, you won't. And Mark, you guys are on tap. Your name was thrown into it, and so were a lot of other names in different regions, but we had to go with that western region out there to start, and I've been talking with Josh here in the long run on this. So I'll back out of here. I could go on this a long time, but I'm not really able to give you much into it yet.
Right.
So,
well,
you guys have a Merry Christmas.
Thanks for the call, Chuck, and Merry Christmas to you, Jill, and Travis, too.
Thank you. Everybody have a good night. Be safe out there for me. Bye-bye.
We'll see you.
Great hearing from you, Chuck.
Yeah, it was, and a good story. Man, that had to have been a massive ring. A size 16? I can only imagine.
Gosh.
I can only imagine. I mean, no bigger a person than I am, or even yourself. That'd just about be like a bracelet for us.
No kidding. Yeah, that's a huge ring, and it's funny. I was thinking about it. When I was telling that story about Troy Hannigan finding a ring that was stolen, my class ring was actually stolen.
Hey, so, you never know. One of these days, you may be the the subject of the return.
Yeah, that would just be absolutely amazing. And so, if anybody's listening out there, I'm looking for a 1972 Edgewater High School class ring with a garnet stone in it. Maybe one day I'll find it, but no, I haven't seen it since many decades.
Well, and from the ring recovery stories that you've heard or even been part of yourself, usually when you present somebody with that class ring, very shortly after you hear those words, I thought I'd never see it again.
Yeah, or you hear those words, "Oh, I'm going to have a heart attack."
Right. Well, I'll tell you, we wound up, we kind of got a little sidetracked, but we did mention MyDetecting.com earlier, and you had some announcements to make yourself.
I did, Josh. Thank you so much for letting me call in to do that. I had never given anything away before on Adventures in History. The group, our Facebook group, Adventures in History, and it's a great group. It's not that big. We just crossed over 1,100 recently, but 3 years in November we celebrated 3-year history of Adventures in History, and I've been delighted with the participation and all the people who have contributed to it. And Lloyd Milan, Digging with Seven, always every week we put history clips in there. So we had a lot of good participation, but we finally decided to do a giveaway, and it was a photo contest. It's already over.
And there were a lot of great photos.
Yes. In fact, I need to congratulate you and Tam for being winners in the contest. You both submitted photos that were winners in it, so congratulations to both of you.
Yeah, they've been getting a pretty good joke out of that all day, some of the friends and family, that the blind guy placed in a photo contest. They've been having some fun with that. Well, look, they were truly good photos that we
the judges really liked, and I got to tell you something. That contest is one of the hardest things I've ever done, and I'll tell you why.
I wouldn't want to be a judge for it.
Yeah, it started out with about 114 photos, and we got it down to about 50. Then we got it down to 30. Then it started getting hard. We were trying to get it down to 12 with 3 winners, first, second, and third place, and then 9 runner-ups. And got it down to about 15, and then it really got hard. I got to tell you, it was really tough. And there were some things in there that, only as a judge or, being aware of some of the photos, that really touched my heart. They didn't necessarily win, but I'll give you an example. Kathy Davis Waters posted a photo of Brent Petherick. Brent was one of our best hunters in the Central Florida Club, and there's a picture of him holding 2 axe heads. And Brent passed away this year.
Yeah, I was going to say that would hit kind of close to home.
Great photo of him, and so I just love that photo. And then Bill Black posted a photo of them hunting out in the water, and his partner, Captain Ken Farrell, also passed away this year, and he was in that photo as well. So, photos like that. There were a couple photos. I have to give a couple shout-outs here. A couple of people. There were great photos, but, the rule was you had to take the photo. And there's a really good photo of Michael Boyles on the beach. I can't tell if it's sunrise or sunset, but it's a beautiful photo. And, just in the verification process, he didn't actually take that photo, but and Craig Atwater, we loved his photo with him and his daughter, out in the field. But again, it wasn't one of the photos that he took, so they were very honest. I genuinely appreciate that. And so I want to give them a special shout-out because we loved those photos. They just weren't submitted they weren't taken by the people that had submitted them. But anyway, there was some fun. There were a couple of photos. There were a lot of fun. We kind of laughed. Philip Gaver, I hope I pronounced his last name right, sent in a photo of a 2-seater outhouse. And all the judges kind of chuckled over that one, who has a 2-seater. Michael Trechter submitted a photo of a surprised cat, on the photo, which was pretty funny. But anyway, when we all netted it out, there were some amazing photos. The winning photo was by Evan Shipley. Had a picture. He was taking a picture of his daughter taking a picture at Harper's Ferry, West Virginia. And a beautiful photo, really well done, really, and it met all the criteria for originality, creativity, and just an expression of history and adventure. So congratulations to Evan for first place. There were a couple of photos. Yeah, there were a couple of photos where, believe it or not, one person had 2 photos that one photo beat out the other photo. So a good example of that is Lisa Pereira had a couple of photos. We couldn't decide between the old gas pumps or the old fire engine, and the old gas pumps took second place. So that was a really cool photo. Really like that one. And then third place was Todd Brush had a beautiful photo of Ferdinand VII half real with kind of and just incredible focus with an out of focus of the estate in the background. It looked really well done, and the judges really liked that one. So all 12 photos really good, very very hard. Any one of the 12 could have been a winner, but then we had a second part of the contest, Josh. We said that the person or the photo that had the most votes would also win a special prize donated by Gary Penta from MyDetecting.com, and I think a lot of people here now are very familiar with Gary's work. It's just incredible.
He does some phenomenal work.
And he donated, it's a classic book, diorama number 2, Herman Melville's Moby Dick, and you posted the picture. So somebody's going to win an amazing award. Now, 3 people tied, and the three who tied were Shannon Copeland from Little Dirt Diggers, submitted a photo, Rob Johnson from Spud Diggers, and then Charlie Davis are all in the running to win. They all tied, and they all know that. So what I did was I took all of their names and put them in an envelope. So there's 3 envelopes here, and we ran random generator to pick the number of the envelopes. I had no idea who's in which envelope. All 3 of them are going to win something, but only one of them is going to win the Gary Penta
diorama.
Yeah. So when you're ready, I mean, random generator just picked number 1. So I've got 3 envelopes here. When you're ready, I'll open the envelope and we'll announce the winner.
Well, let's go ahead and do that and see who the lucky person is. I mean, he does do some phenomenal work, and it did look like a great piece. As a matter of fact, the picture that I shared tonight and made us the thumbnail for the show, that I picked that picture specifically to share because it does say mydetecting.com at the bottom of it.
You know, and I'm really glad. I think Gary's in the chat. He may still be in the chat. Yeah, he's still there. He and his family are going on a very special vacation over Christmas. I'm just delighted that he's going to be able to do that.
Nice.
They're going to spend some time in the Caribbean. But I'm going to. So if they're listening tonight, I have all 3 of their addresses, and I'm going to send Gary's the address of the person who wins, and he's going to ship that out tomorrow morning before he leaves to go on vacation, so they won't have to wait.
Wow.
All right, drum roll. You ready?
I'm ready. That's awesome.
All right, I just opened envelope number 1, and the winner is Rob Johnson from Spud Diggers is going to get the Gary Penta diorama. Congratulations, Rob.
Yes,
all the best
congratulations to Rob. Yeah, if any of the listeners do happen to have him on their friends list, go ahead and shoot him a message. Tell him congratulations. You heard about it here.
Yeah, I told him that he didn't have to be. I know he's had a commitment tonight, but congratulations, Rob. We'll make sure that we get that out to you. And I want to say to Shannon and the whole Copeland family, congratulations. You're also a winner. I'm going to be sending something very special out to you as well. And the same to Charlie Davis. You're also a winner. You'll also be getting a really nice gift. All of the runner-ups, I'm going to be sending a really nice book from Calico and some Adventures in History swag as well in the package. So got 15 total winners, and the way I look at it, everybody, in fact, anybody who entered the contest, if you weren't one of the 15, weren't one of the first 3 or 9 runner-ups or one of the last 3, if you entered the contest and you want to PM me your address, I will send you an Adventures in History sticker. So anybody that entered, I'll send you that out. Just PM me your address.
And all of the winners, including the runners-up, were supposed to send you their respective addresses as well, correct?
That's right, Josh. Everybody that won, I announced it this afternoon on Adventures in History. I put it in Beyond Sight and Sound, a number of different locations. If you saw your name on there as one of the winners, just make sure you PM me. About half of the folks have already pinned me their address, so I'll make sure that their prizes go out tomorrow.
I thought about PMing you, but then I thought, well, I don't know. He may still have my address.
I probably do somewhere, and if I don't, I'll let you know. But I'll definitely make sure that you and Tim get your prizes. I'll make sure they're not the same thing either.
Well, I can tell you, she was quite pleased to hear that her photo made it as one of the runner-ups, and I can tell you that fire tower. Actually, she got that photo on a day that I was called out to a ring return out of state at a state park. That they still had an old fire tower and quite a number of head of bison on site.
Now, is that the picture of the bison that she submitted as well?
Most likely, yeah. Because I think she did say
she submitted a picture of a bison as well.
Yep. It came from the same state park. Because awesome. After the recovery attempt, we figured, well, we've made the drive all this way. We might as well enjoy the park and take a walk. So we took some time to sit and look at the bison and see the fire tower and stuff like that. So you could say those photos really did come from an adventure in history.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, the thing is that it's not always easy to tell a story in a photo. I mean,
it's not.
Sometimes with a title or a description, but every one of those photos has a story behind it, And,
absolutely.
You look at some of the winners, I'm just thinking about that old gas station with all those old gas pumps, and all the things that occurred there and just the Harper's Ferry picture and, it wasn't easy to pick one, or pick the winners. But every one of those photos that was submitted has a story behind it.
Oh, absolutely! I know one of them that I submitted. I still chuckle at when I look at it, just wondering what that cow was thinking, seeing that guy hunting, or even what the guy was thinking when he looked up and realized that the cow was watching him.
Yeah, it's funny. I remember, was it this year or last year? I can't remember. I was hunting with Gary, and we were in a field. There was a horse next door, and I didn't even realize that I was hunting close to the fence, and I literally felt this hot breath on the back of my neck. And I turned around and looked up. The horse had looked over the fence, and he was just over me. And I reached up and took a picture of him right next to me. Some great animal stories too.
Oh yeah, you never know what we're gonna run across out there. You just never know.
Yeah, you just never know. But I want to thank Gary again for contributing to it. He has. He's donated some stuff that has gone to charity. He donated to the charity that our club supports, Esther Single Mothers. He's donated to some other charities that are near and dear to him as well. And I can tell you that, people that have his art just absolutely treasure his work.
I can agree with that. I have one of his miniature detectors myself, actually, a golden dais.
Oh, that's awesome. So, each of us that has one of his artworks, and they're one of a kind, and we all treasure them. So, Gary, I know you're listening, so thank you so much for contributing that. And then, Josh, I want to thank you personally for letting me come on and share that tonight, and just for everything that you do for the hobby and your encouragement to everyone. And I also I didn't get a chance earlier. I wanted to give a shout out to Barb. I know that everybody has done that already, but as we were saying earlier, I don't know how she does it. I honestly don't. It takes everyone who's contributing, people who contributed money for buying things, for buying postage or whatever. But at the end of the day, Barb is the wheel, that turns the whole operation. And she just did a phenomenal job. And I know there's going to be a lot of happy kids with that whole thing. So what you did, Chuck did, Barb, all of her efforts, and all of those who contributed. And we had a lot of fun with it too. I got, my wife got involved in it. We were, putting together packages for all the kids. So it was a lot of fun, and it's a lot of kids are going to have a fun Christmas with all of these things that went out.
Absolutely, I would agree. And you're right. Gary has done a lot of good things in the hobby himself, actually, and I can remember appreciating what he does for the hobby so much, as well as his art pieces. That I actually took a special piece from my collection because I felt that it belonged to him. It has a better spot in his collection, and if anybody out there can respect it, I know he could. And I had sent him a handcrafted silver miniature metal detector. It's got a mercury dime on it for the coil. It's all made out of silver. Really, really neat, unique piece. And I thought, that's a guy that can really appreciate something like this. It needs to go to where it belongs. So, he got that added to his collection.
Awesome. Yeah, that's
very,
great.
very cool.
That's fantastic.
Definitely.
Well, I think we'll probably do something else next year. And if anybody who's listening is not a part of the Adventures in History group, we'd love to have you come over and do that. Just click on the group, tell us you want to join, and we have some great stories and photos and videos and things that people are contributing. So just would encourage them to continue doing that. But thanks for letting us be a part of your show tonight.
Hey, not a problem. More than happy to. I guess Merry Christmas to you and Gail and the family and Gary and his family as well.
Well, thanks so much, Josh, and to Chuck and to everyone else. Merry Christmas. Hope you guys have a wonderful holiday and look forward to a wonderful new year, and look forward to seeing everybody again next year somewhere. Out in the field or out detecting somewhere, but have adventure, will travel.
Exactly. Well, we do thank you very much for the call and for making the announcements. Very, very cool to hear. And you're right, there were a lot of great photos that were submitted. And for people who aren't a member of Adventures in History, they can always go over, request to join, find the post, and see the photos for themselves.
Yeah, I hope they do that. And appreciate it, Josh. And good night to you, and good night to Tim. And y'all have a good evening, and Merry Christmas.
All right. Same to you, Mark. Thanks for the call. You have a wonderful evening.
All right. Bye-bye.
And I guess as we roll on out of here, I'll go ahead and share one more quick return story that a person had asked me if they wondered if I could find a ring. It's what they referred to as a cemetery ring. No, it was not in a cemetery. They had it on at a 4th of July gathering, and they took it off for whatever reason and put it in their shirt pocket while they were running around enjoying the food, the games, the bonfire, things of that nature. And oh gosh, I want to say that would have been late February, very early March that year. Very, very, very chilly outside. We went out to try for it. They take me out to their backyard, which is, I want to say, every bit the size of a football field or bigger, and says, "It's out here somewhere. Good luck. If you get cold, just come up and knock on the door, come in and warm yourself up. I'll be right in the house." So, okay. And I'm looking around and I'm going, man, where do you even begin to start? Well, there's no better place to start than where you're at, I guess, right? So let's fire up the machine and go. Fired up the machine, target right off the bat, cut the plug, And I'm very surprised to see a ring staring back at me already. So I look it over, I drop it down in the hole again, I leave the detector there, I shut it off, I go up, I knock on the door. They answer the door and they say, well, it hasn't even been 10 minutes. You're cold already? I said, well, I just had a couple extra questions if you don't mind. No, that's fine. Come on in. Warm yourself up. So I go in and I'm asking them. I said, well, can you give me some more information on this ring? You know, what's it look like and everything? And the guy tells me, he says, well, I've got one here that I bought to kind of replace it. It's similar. It's not quite the same, but it's similar. And he brings it out and he shows it to me and I'm looking it over and I'm like, yeah, that's a nice ring. It really is. But, this one's a little lighter than the one that you lost, isn't it? And he just kind of gave me the strangest look, and he says, well, I don't know, I guess so, but that's an odd question. Why would you ask that? And I said, well, do me a favor and look out the back window there. And they do. I said, you see where the detector's sitting in the yard? And they're like, yeah. I said, would you like to go get your ring? Are you kidding me? You've got it already? You haven't even been here 10 minutes. Yeah, I've got it already. First target I hit. Luck was on our side today. I take him out there and tell him, say, I want to wipe it off and get a couple quick photos and then it's yours, you know. That's fine. And they did ask that I don't mention any names, anything like that. Subsequently, though, I had told him, I said, well, I honestly, I thought this was going to take a little longer than it did. I still got some time to kill. You mind if I poke around the rest of the yard here a little bit? I said, yeah, sure, go ahead, knock yourself out. Well, the next target I ran across, nice high silver sound. You could tell there was some iron in the hole with it. Cut the plug, pull about half a dozen nails out of the hole, and down there at the bottom, an 1894 San Francisco Mint Barber $50. I just kind of sat down, got a picture of it, stuck it in my pocket, shut the detector off. I said, you know, it's cold, I'm freezing, but I've had a great day. I don't think I'm going to push it any further. I think I'm just gonna be happy with the return and happy with my find of a barber half and call it a day. Another good story, another good return. But I think we're about to call it a day here as well. So for all you others, everybody that shared their returns in the chat, very much appreciated. Very cool to see everybody dropping in, Bob and Finding America and all the rest of the gang, Mark and Chuck and the Bills and Scotty and Nelson and Steve and Gary and Jerry, Mike, number of great people in the chat. Definitely. Great stories from Mark, great stories from Chuck, and it's been a great time tonight. So as we roll on out of here, we wish everybody a very warm holidays this Tuesday and Wednesday as we roll into Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Hopefully everyone stays safe, everyone has a good time, and enjoys their time. Merry Christmas, everyone. If you enjoyed the show, throw us a like. You can follow us here on Spreaker, the podcast distribution services, Ohio Metal Detecting on YouTube, Facebook. We're all over. Until the next one, though, enjoy the archive run that we have planned for Wednesday. And we will be back live the following Sunday. Have a wonderful evening, folks. Stay safe. Be well. Merry Christmas.